thought. We're not going to go around to every table, so what I'll do is I'll pick 2 tables. Your nominated spokesman will give feedback on the 2 questions, hopefully, and then we'll invite some questions and additional commentary from the other attendees.
Yeah, and just to say, there's a sheet on each table, and just leave it at the end. Barry will pick it up, and then when we're doing the report, we hope to summarise. And we're trying to be as more positive as opposed to be negative about things. So that's great.
Okay, so let's pick a number out of the hat. It's table 6. So table 6 would like to give their feedback.
How come I never win anything?
Second prize is you have to speak twice.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll give the first question as some other table can enjoy the second one. Okay, that's the second. So we discussed the current drivers. We talked about a couple of things like lead, for example, which we would see is, we haven't seen them in a lot of tenders, but know that, say, large multinationals such as US organizations are certainly including them in their requests. Feel that green is probably more relevant locally, and that is being used by designers. But then we focused primarily on building regs Part L, and the comment there is that as the new standards are being applied, there are buildings that have been designed, not yet built, but that there's now an increased cost in redesigning those to meet with those new requirements. And I think that's going to be a recurring theme over the coming years as regulation starts to, or continues to impact on our buildings. We then, finally, we looked at energy focus in use, and that the SEI, their grant scheme is actually driving the correct behaviour in that they're looking for feedback, and it may be simple stuff, yes, you've applied for the grant, yes, you've used it, now give us a comparison of your energy costs, last November compared to energy costs this November, and that is actually part and parcel of getting the grant. So that's our input for question 1.
Thank you. I'll actually invite commentary on that before we move on to question 2, while it's fresh in your minds. Does anyone have anything to add on what the current drivers are? They don't need to be regulatory, they can be non-regulatory drivers. Would you like to add to that? I'll ask our own table here. Here you go.
I suppose one of the things we discussed at our table was that client awareness was a big issue, and then when we got to the operational side, we felt that what we were talking about was a gap really in if the client understood better why issues that come up at operational level, if they were understood earlier, that perhaps it would be a very good thing in the early design stage of the project. I think there are big questions, I suppose, drivers at operational level would include financial, utility costs, tenants questioning more and more, and waste reduction. There's a PR element for larger companies and all of that. So we saw that gap as a significant item.
Thank you. I'm going to ask table 8 to respond to question 2, if you don't mind. Just wait until the microphone comes to you, because we're recording this and transmitting.
With regard to how business can best promote to the clients the importance of measuring our performance in new existing buildings, we believe that the best example would be to illustrate it with relative to the building that they were actually discussing with the client, all from previous examples. But we also noted that would require an investment, both possibly in terms of time and money, from the design team without a guarantee of return in order to prove to the client which we're pursuing. So, in our opinion, business could best promote to the clients by showing by example, which would involve a bit of investment.
Excellent. Thank you. Is anybody going to add to that? Don't be shy. Okay.
What we discussed at that time in terms of investment is the it's not really that the sort of sophisticated way of working costs more. It just, it's actually a more efficient way of working. It just has to be, the money has to be applied and the effort has to be applied at a different time, at an earlier stage. So you're not asking clients to spend more, you're just saying, change the way you spend your money.
I think there's some clients that recognise that. Someone mentioned there, like the US multinationals, construct all over the world, it works, it doesn't work. They invest in early design. But all of our projects in Ireland aren't like that. We're working for the public sector, we're working for, who should be shown leading by example, And one idea I thought was very good here is we can't go and knock on every client's door to help them about this and draw the design circle, the construction circle, the operations circle, and then you should spend the design fees. Maybe put measures in place for planning. Every building must go for planning. Really when I see planning applications, they really tend to be about architecture. If you bring in more performance-based requirements at the planning stage, maybe that's the promoting to clients. This becomes a requirement, and then your design needs to reflect that requirement. That was one idea I thought would be worth exploring in a bit more detail.
I mean, just on the second one, surely one of the main business messages to promote to clients the importance of this measurement or carbon performance is that it's not going to cost you any more money, Mr. Client. We're just going to do it anyway because that's what we do. It's not going to cost you a cent more, and if anything, we're going to save you money. So it's like a no-brainer situation. It's when you put your hand out and ask for more money for software or BIM, sorry, that's just not that it costs you money. So surely that's the message.
I think you have to get a microphone actually. One of the things people were discussing at our table, I was asking how many projects have you come across that have done whole life costing, and I was quite surprised by the answer because it was none. And I wonder if the rest of the tables have had a similar experience. So how many of you have come across whole life costing on the projects that you have worked on? Hands up?
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Would you like to elaborate on that, how that came about and what was the motive for it? It does seem to be a very effective way of focusing people's minds.
Well, I'm a civil engineer working predominantly in bridge design, and how life costing of bridges is quite critical, but is slightly divergent from the discussions here today. Probably a lot more related to the serviceability and durability of a structure in terms of the materials that are used, and therefore affecting the whole life costs rather than any direct input of energy during the life of the structure, because it's not necessarily consuming energy as it's within operation unless it's a movable bridge or something like that. So that's where we would often look at it.
We'll place to put those requirements in the brief, and projects that have these kind of things written in the brief, goes back to the client who writes the brief. So if the brief sets out these requirements, well then, and performance requirements and so on and so forth, teams can respond to that. I think that's my opinion on that. Would anyone else like to come in?
And maybe one thing to add is that as you see, not that many projects actually do it. So those who do it can put the experience back into the public domain so that more evidence becomes available how little the cost difference actually is, or the whole life cost benefits of this process being adopted by a project. Because without the evidence, you can't really argue it again and again.
Okay, just over here, please.
One of the things we were discussing here is that, from our experience, most private clients tend to have a much shorter focus in terms of looking for quick returns on investment. And trying to say a 30 or 40 year return on investment is quite difficult. I mean, there's obviously a clear win for government agencies who are going to be managing the building for 40 years. But for private clients, it tends to be looking at what can I get out of this deal in 5 years or 2 years or 3 years. how do we actually convert that message across the clients to the rest?
I can't answer it, but it's a good point, well made. Five-year payback lease, or I don't know if that's anymore. Just about one more comment, question here, and we're going to move to short presentation by Ralph Montague. Just want to say your name.
Sorry, it's Trevor Woods. Just an example that I came across at the conference in February last was a speaker from John Lewis Waitrose in the UK. And they've committed to reduce their carbon footprint by 15% to 2010-2011 levels by 2020 while doubling their footprint. And the primary way for doing this is by better design, by using building information models. And the reason he said they're doing this is because it means more to them, it's their bottom line. It's for purely selfish financial reasons. That if they can design a more sustainable building, lower carbon footprint, it means more money in their pocket, it's lower running costs. And they're running small Waitrose units and filling stations to big, huge units like the one in the shopping centre in Stratford, which I think was one of the first LED accredited shopping centres, I think, or shops in the UK. So it's simple. You're going to clients and you're saying, look at what's happening in the UK with BIM for retail. It's twice that.